Hey, hi, hello, it's me, Carmen, and I'm in Onion in Alaska. Happy Easter, or happy belated Easter, depending on when this gets posted. Make sure you press that like and subscribe button down below. Today we're going to be making hot cross buns. I think we already did a video on fish cakes. So this is your hot cross buns. Have a good one. So we're making that Changzhu or whatever. Hopefully I didn't pronounce that wrong. Mix in the 3 tablespoons of water and the 3 tablespoons of milk with the 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. And we're going to cook that. Got most of the lumps out. Some stubborn flour on the edge there. So it has thickened to a paste. Turned off the heat, moved it to another burner, and now I'm going to add in that half a cup of cold milk. That's for the rest of the recipe. That'll help to cool this down. And then we'll move on to our next step. What's funny is we thickened it up and then we thinned it back down. There. Cool, no lumps, no bumps. Cool, we're going to add our 1 large egg. And then we'll move on to our dry ingredients. 3/4 of a cup whole wheat flour. 1/4 of a cup roughly ground flaxseed. 1½ cups AP flour. This is a King Arthur recipe, but do as you like. 1/4 cup plus 1 tablespoon of sugar. Teaspoon of salt, and then the yeast. Whisk all the flours and sugar and stuff together with my spices. Cinnamon, cardamom, ginger, nutmeg. And now I'm going to add the wet mixture, my soaked raisins, and the 4 tablespoons or 1/4 cup of melted butter. So I've switched to a wooden spoon, and I'm adding in my ½ cup of soaked raisins. You can see how plump and juicy they are. So you're going to either use a dough hook, which I don't have, or I'm going to then stir this with this wooden spoon for 8 minutes, and then we'll let the dough rest. With the wooden spoon for 8 minutes, I thought that my dough was a little sticky, so I kneaded it by hand and sprinkled in like another 1/4 cup of AP flour. Now I'm going to put it in a greased bowl, and I'm going to add some more oil on top. I think kneading for that extra 5 minutes really helped it. I don't know if it has to do with the time of year or what, but yeah, so sprinkled in another 1/4 cup of flour as I was kneading. And now the top is oiled. We're just going to cover it and let it rise for about 1.5 hours. Rested for 90 minutes. I'm not going to say rose because it really didn't rise that much, which is normal for it. But it does seem a little wetter and more dense than normal, so I have formed out my balls, and I'm going to let them rise for another hour to 1.5 hours, and then I'll cut the crosses in them right before I throw them in the oven. The batch of rolls was taking so long to rise that I made a whole nother batch, worrying that either I messed something up or there's something wrong with my yeast. So I've got a second batch in metal also rising now. Same recipe. They are rising a lot faster, so I don't know, maybe it was the yeast. This dough was also a lot less sticky, and while I'm waiting for that, I've also been making cookies, because you know. Because if you're going to get the oven hot, you might as well use it. So obviously I've been making quite a bit of cookies. Different. So this is the first one, the ones that weren't rising. These are the second ones in all their gloriousness. These ones look better, so I'll take these to work. I have glazed all of them. It's just a simple syrup, equal parts granulated sugar and water, mixed with some lime and lemon zest. And once they're all cooled down, of course, I'll put the crosses on the top. But this one is just for me to taste. Ooh, look at that texture.
What?
So I'm an onion in Alaska, and last year when I made this, I used the Simply Local recipe that Renee had, but this year I used like the milk bread recipe. So good. Good Friday and a happy Easter from my house to yours. I'm an onion in Alaska.